wasn't supposed to be.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that I have that, I'm actually going to start. Okay. All right, everyone ready to get started then?
I'm ready when you are.
Everyone here? Just sound off.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Red 5 signing in.
This is Red 2.
Red 1.
Red 3.
Josh,
Hi.
Josh, it's Red Leader, not Red 1.
Okay. All right. So to start off, all right. So real quick, just for the sake of everyone, not necessarily having met everyone, but I think we have, who you are and who you're playing. So I am Joel, also known as Darth Elmo, and I am GMing this session.
I'm Aaron. I'm also known as Willaroo on occasion. Don't know if that's more rare in this group. I am going to be playing Mariok, the half-orc. I'm also going to be filling in for two of our missing members. So I'm going to also be playing our Tengu rogue, Chameleon, and our, what is he, a tiefling gunslinger?
Yes.
Yes. So that's me.
Hi, I'm the village idiot, and I'm playing Giz.
The alchemist goblin.
Yes.
Oh, fine.
I'm Ben. I'm playing human warrior Rolf. Because
Wolf?
I like to punch things.
Nice name.
Nice.
It's right there in the character things.
I just like how you spell it.
What? I like how I spelled it.
Moving on.
All right. I'm Charles, also known as King Shadowclock, or KSC, and I will be playing Zero, the half-elf.
Inquisitor, right?
Inquisitor, yes.
I feel like you should be selling chicken.
KFC!
That's all I could see when he changed it.
KS.
I had to actually change his name on my version to King Shadowclock, so I didn't stop seeing that and keep calling him KFC by accident. All right, which leaves one more person.
Okay, everyone quiet. All right, I'm Anna. I don't go by any other name. I am Alurai. What is it, the Asmarian, I want to say?
Yes.
Slightly human. And I'm a ranger.
All right. All right, so starting off,
Can we get an accent mark over the E? I'm never going to get that right unless there's something there distinguishing that.
all right, so
It's
as all of you, you all know, you are in the city of Ankh-Morpork, which is a city with some very interesting ways of viewing the undead. It's much more neutral towards the view of them, seeing them as just constructs, much closer to golems than anything else, and not viewing them as good or evil, just neutral. And they pretty much have that staying towards a lot of magic, which has attracted a lot of very interesting people to the city. It has a very high influx of tieflings, tangus, catfolk. It's pretty much one of the rare places where pretty much anyone can go and be accepted for who they are without an overabundant amount of prejudice, though some, of course, remains. Now, the city folk and the leaders who set this up knew that such attitudes would probably attract people of less ritual nature trying to take care of this more lax view. As such, they create a group which has protected the city for many, many years called the Outsiders. All of you, except for Aaron's character, have applied to become part of the Outsiders. And at the moment, you are preparing, actually, at a ceremony to decide who the Outsiders for the next 2 years will be. So, just to set the scene, you are all standing on top of the city wall, which is basically overlooking a huge open park. Which is filled to the brim with hundreds of thousands of people, all clamoring from different races and nations, all very, very excited. Everyone's talking frantically when you notice a middle-aged woman with graying brown hair begin to walk up and take a spot on what would be considered a podium. You know this woman to be Kaylin Zoku, who is the current prime minister of the city and the country as a whole. Since Ankh-Morpork is actually featured as a city island, which has a couple of other islands underneath its rule as well. She comes to the stage and makes a motion, and the crowds begin to hush. As she stands up there, she begins giving a speech, and she goes, "Greetings, one and all, and welcome, as we decide the outsiders." And the crowd goes, "Yay! As you know, these shall be our protectors for the next 2 years. They shall overlook all and protect us from those who would corrupt our city from the inside." Again, yay! She turns to where all of you have been stationed onto the wall. There's about 40 different people there, staying there, and she goes, "I thank you all for the sacrifice you are about to make. Now, if you would," and someone brings over basically a, not necessarily a hat, but basically a tube with a whole bunch of different names in it. And she reaches in and pulls out the first name, and she goes, "Trillia Tonba." And you see a small female goblin walk up, exiting herself from the group, and you hear cheers from all the cities, but particularly from those who would be goblins. She walks over to one member who's holding a flag with the image of a black sword on it, and takes the standard from her. Next, she pulls another name and goes, "Kalis Salar," at which point you see a half-elf walk over and take a standard from one other person who is holding up a flag which has the image of basically what looks like a stone tooth. Next, she pulls out another name, Trillian Echorin. And with that, the crowd actually crawls a little silent as a very odd-looking, you would guess it to be a gnome, but his skin and hair is completely gray. He wears a strange red coat as he walks over to the gentleman who is holding the symbol with, it's basically a weird symbol on top of a green background. And you hear some cheering, but it's very much hushed as no one quite knows how to take this much more. Next, she pulls out another name, and calls out Aluria Sato. I think I pronounced her name right.
Elorai.
Sato.
Elorai.
Alurai, sorry.
Lorai Sato.
And you see one person left who is holding the standard with basically a raven's claw on it. And you've been told ahead of time, if your name is called, you're supposed to go over and take that from her.
I would go over and take it from her.
Yeah. Fine. Lorai goes over and takes.
All right, and the crowd responds appropriately. Next, she calls out, "Colin Black," and you see another human walk over to the symbol of the Black Blade. As appropriate cheering continues, usually more cheering keeps coming up from whatever race the person appears to be from.
That's racist.
Kind of is, yeah. Next, Eli Clark is called, and you see another human walk over to the Earth Fang symbol. Afterwards, an orc is called, who walks over to the green symbol. Next, she pulls out another name and goes, "Grizz Bottle Maker."
What?
Yes, sorry.
It sounded like you said like Grizz or something.
No, I said Giz.
Okay, anyway.
I said Giz.
Of course he said Giz. That's what every one of us heard.
He slinks over to the Raven banner.
Okay. Next, she calls out another name, and she goes, "Crystal Omar." And you actually see a Medusa, garbed in the traditional wear of a cleric of, name, why did I close my campaign setting? I had it open and then I closed it.
Ida?
Gerd, no, of Oriai.
Okay.
And she walks over. Next, she calls out Grom Tonag. And actually, it's Tuna, because I can't read my own writing. At which point a dwarf walks over to the earth symbol. Kral Thrall, at which point a Tengu walks over to the green symbol. Then she calls out Malroth Quaeus, who is not here to play his character, so he walks over to the Ravenclaw. Next she calls out Lena Griff, at which you see another tiefling actually walk over and stand by the Nightblade symbol. She calls up the name Halaha, at which point a cat folk lady walks over to join Earthfang. Then she calls out Thromf Gasher, at which point you see a very, very actually oddly beefy looking halfling walk over and join the green symbol. Then you see then she calls another game, and since he hasn't given me his name, I'm going to give it to him, and it's Free Olfa. And you see another Tengu walk over and join your little party over by the Ravenclaw. Next, she calls out Val Kimp, at which point you see a member of the Rockfolk tribe walk over and join the Nightblades. Then she calls out Drell Nasha, at which you see another tiefling watch over to the Earthen Fang symbol. Then she calls out Millie Grits, at which point you see a gnome walk over and join the greens. Then she calls out Drasan Ra, at which point you see a kobold walk over and join the Nightblade symbol. She then calls out Shanar Narar, at which point you see a very strange-looking person who you would almost assume to be human, except for their eyes glow and they have almost black skin, and their face looks almost void of life. Go over and join the Earth Fangs. And then she calls out Sharel Onlaf, at which point an elf walks over to the green symbol. She takes a pause and says, as she prepares to pull out the one last name in the container, and she calls out Zero Ashamaru.
Zero, that's you.
Alright, walks over to her.
Okay.
And
Okay. All right. So you walk over and join the group. With that, she goes. I think I got everyone right. If not, we'll just write.
No.
Oh.
No, you didn't get Ben.
Oh.
I think you got Ben. It's okay.
We don't want him anyway.
Oh.
Ben's there. Yeah.
He was there from the beginning because they wanted him so badly.
Ralph was called, but I forgot one. So that was my bad. At any point, we'll just retcon that in. At what point she turns to you and goes, "May the goddess look over you as you serve well these next 2 years." And with that, the crowd explodes in cheering, and you're basically escorted down off the city walls and walked through the street to the Capitol with people cheering and several walking up and wanting to shake your hand and other such activities. You would assume she's talking about Pharasma.
Okay, I'll make assumptions. Okay. At which point you are
At which point you're walked over the Capitol and paraded through the street as people clamor and again are very excited about this whole news. It's a big deal in the city to be chosen for something like this. At which point you are